Sziasztok, Janó vagyok. Közép-Európa első világra szóló podcast csatornáját hallgatjátok Magyarországról. Ez a Budapest.fm.
Hi, my name is Ray, and you're listening to the #1 podcast station in Central Europe, Budapest.fm, podcasting to the world from Hungary.
Ladies and gentlemen, lányok és fiúk, welcome back to episode 2 of Talking with Willie. We are here today once again with Bob Tamás.
Hello, super happy to be here.
Back for part 2. And we have along with us two of my very dear friends, my neighbors, and interesting Budapesti, I would say some of the most interesting Budapesti I've come across. And that is Teréz and Nauszika. So we can start with Nauszika. Would you like to introduce yourself, tell the people in the audience something about yourself, where you're from, and who you are?
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you now. So I am from Budapest. I spent most of my life in Budapest, except for the very beginning when I lived 5 years at the western part, Őrség. Should I speak in Hungarian?
You can do both. I mean, we can switch back and forth.
It's a
little
bilingual program.
Bilingual program, két nyelvű program. So I went to university to Károly Gáspár Református Egyetem.
Károly Gáspár Református Egyetem.
Yes.
And where is that actually?
There is one building at Calvin Square, near to Calvin Square, in Revicki utca. I went there, and also to Dózsa György út.
Dózsa György, I love Dózsa György, one of my favorite Hungarian historical figures, led a peasant rebellion in the early 16th century. Lots of nice statues of him. You can see one down in the part right where the Erzsébet Bridge comes out into Buda, and then you get that little back view of the castle. Emphatic Soviet-era statue of Dózsa György holding some sort of mallet or hammer, and yeah, it's delightful. Thank you.
I learned from Dózsa György, like from you, many things that I didn't know about him.
Well, I hope they were correct. I did my best. But he's been someone that's actually captivated me because he has sort of this view that's changed throughout history. There's a lot of Marxist ideology about his perspective and how he led the working class rebellion. But then there's also some other, I don't know, you can go in any direction, but I don't know, it's that's where the school was on the Dózsa György út.
No, but Dózsa György út is on the Pest side, so it's not where the statue is. It's near Hősök tere.
Hősök tere, yeah. And Teréz, where are you from, Budapest?
Yeah, so thank you. I'm very excited to be here and a little bit, this is the first time to speak, over here. And so I born in Budapest and my whole family from over here. And especially from Buda side. So,
Your family's especially from the Buda side?
Yeah. And so I was traveling a lot. I was studying in Moholy-Nagy University. So,
well, that's how actually I met you, Teréz, because I met Nauszika first, and she told me that she was doing this documentary film production with her roommate / friend Teréz. And then I met you one day on the stairs. We were walking up the stairs together.
Yeah. And
you were telling me, eventually I learned that you're making this great documentary film. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? What is the documentary about, actually?
Yeah, so it's going to be about the millennial generation. So it's mainly kind of about our age. And so we are focusing on the Balkan and the post-Soviet region, like the V4 countries and the Balkans. And so we want to see how these things are going over there and who they are and what they want to do, where they are going ahead and so on. And we had this
So you're interested in the people that live in the Balkans and how they're this millennial generation. Actually, I have a question for you. Tom, Bob Tamás, over sitting perpendicular or diagonal from me.
Catty corner, as we would say in Iowa.
Catty corner. He is actually, along with being from Iowa, very interested in the documentary that we're making. I was telling him basically that we're looking at these people from the Balkans and they have all these transformative experiences of being in millennials. So my question is, Tom a millennial? He's 26. Does that count as a millennial?
Yeah. I mean, we were building we built our own kind of
We tried to narrow it down.
Yes.
So officially, or I think most of the literature says that millennials are from 82 until 95, 96. But we are trying to do it like not that a broad generation. So only 10 years, like from 85 to 95.
Well, that's what attracted me to the project, is this idea of thinking about things generationally, especially. How do you say generationally in Hungarian, actually, Nauszika?
Generációs.
Generációs.
Yeah.
I like those easy ones. So, well, actually, I don't, because they can be even harder than the Hungarian words. But either way, to think about things generationally is a very compelling concept, especially in a time like this with the coronavirus.
I don't really know if the older generation is very conscious about, being millennial or being Y, but I think there is an effort to be conscious about it. I mean, I can see the media, like an economist article or whatever, you can always see that there are, why is Y generation so narcissistic? Or why are they so ruthless? Or why are they whatever? So you can always see that there is an effort to see them together and to somehow identify with the Y generation, and that is somehow also our aim, to see the similarities between us and the Y generation or Generation Y in the Balkans, and also to export it to the US, like to Iowa, and see what we all have in common.
What we have in common as a generational
As
group.
a generation, yeah.
And is Hungary part of the Balkans? Would you say that Hungary is part of the Balkans? No.
No, like we are really out of this Slavic circle around us, but yeah, I mean, we have common roots in the sense of traditions, and like instead of the language, we have everything common. Or not everything, but I mean most of the things. So, like if we are going back to this shamanic area ages, 100,
Let's go there. I like
1,000,
that.
yeah. So it's like they had these two, and also if we are thinking about the traditional clothes, it's like everywhere these roses and all the music is like very similar around. It's like this very deeply sad, unsatisfied lyrics and songs. Yeah. So and one more additional thing. So we are looking for. Because all the generation has its own traumas and so on, and we really want to see it. What is this in Balkan? And actually, it's really interesting, because just yesterday I had a very interesting talk with a Serbian guy, and he was telling it was very hard to be in the war, and then this 2000 years in Serbia, that kind of revolution. I mean, that revolution.
The Bulldozer Revolution,
yes,
with Slobodan Milosevic.
Yes,
one of my favorite revolutions. I just love the name Bulldozer Revolution. I know
I love it too.
It often gets grouped in with the Orange Revolution in Ukraine and the Rose Revolution in Georgia in 2003.
Velvet Revolution.
And the Velvet Revolution. But I love that Bulldozer Revolution. I mean, it's so Serbian as well. I just love it. They just toppled him on bulldozers.
Yeah, so just one sentence. So this guy was telling me we can think it was very hard, all of these wars and all this ethnical diversity and everything, how we are trying to deal with our problems over here, but our generation biggest trauma in Balkans too, this transition time from the communists to the capitalism and all these things. So he was telling the transition and all this, everything is changing. This is our biggest trauma. And I felt it's something really, really close.
I like that. That's really cool. And that Nauszika, tell me about the name Nauszika. Where is that from? Where does that derive from, Nauszika?
It's from Greek mythology.
Mythology.
My mother is Greek, so she chose it there. She was a princess. Nauszika was a princess born from the sea. In the Odyssey, or Ulysses, you could read about her. I guess it was the 9th chapter, but I'm not sure of that.
In the Odyssey by Homer, she was in
Yeah.
that. Wow, that's very compelling. That's a cool name to have. I mean, just to go out there and say I'm Nauszika, I'm derived from a Greek princess, is a very nice carrot to have. To
I had a tough childhood with that, but,
really?
But now I like it also.
I'm very interested in childhood in Hungary because that's something that I've been exposed to through probably the mese and the folk tales and some of these things that I've seen peripherally. Like I watched the movie Safi the other day, and I watched Ludas Maci.
What were those animated films that you found on YouTube that were translated into English? Old Hungarian.
Well, they have the mese, the
Magyar népmesék.
Magyar népmesék. That's much better than me. That's much better. That's like a different. What I just sang was like hardly recognizable from a Chinese soap opera, and that was the beautiful, beautiful Magyar népmesék.
Magyar népmesék.
Magyar népmesék.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That sounds perfect.
Igazából Tom és én tanár ugyanaz tanár Tom és én Orsi.
Or if he goes to the same teacher, ugyanahoz, a tanárhoz járunk.
Megyünk ugyanahoz.
Járunk.
Rather, because you go on a regular basis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like commuting to work.
So how's that going for you, Tom, the Hungarian language instruction?
It's super fun. I just need to make it more of a daily thing, like smaller amounts of time daily rather than trying to do a huge amount of time doing my homework right before the lesson. But it's super fun. I like the challenge.
How long have you been here, like in Hungary?
It's about 3 years now.
3 years now.
It's due time for me to speak more. So. And it's fun. It's fun. I really enjoy speaking another language. It's fun to have to force yourself to work within a different structure of.
Will you try to force yourself now?
No? Probably not. I mean, just a little here and there where
I don't want to be pushy. So.
Oh, okay. We'll see. It'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've just started to get to the phase where I can talk a little bit more Hungarian, like subconsciously almost. I had an experience earlier today where I ordered a croissant, and I just realized afterwards, like, wow, I'm actually not thinking about what I'm saying. And that was a very cool breakthrough. But language is something that's very integral to this project about the Balkans and to the region, forgetting about the project, but just the region as a whole is this idea of language. And I just want to hear your guys' thoughts on language or what you think linguistically the Balkans has to offer. A lot of differences, a lot of similarities.
Like you mean with the Hungarian?
Is Hungary linguistically, the Balkans are all tied together as a Slavic place, right?
Yeah.
So do you see mostly Slavic languages in the Balkans? Is that what you would say?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, I don't know. But no, they are completely different. I mean, there are Slavic languages, there are similar languages like Slovenian, Croatian, Serbian, what else?
Kabi, around instead of Albanian, all of them, no?
Even in
I mean, the ex-Yugoslavian languages.
Yeah.
Just Albanian is really, really far.
Really, really far.
Yeah, it is very different, and I think what North Macedonia speaks, it will be also very different.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then that's what I wanted to ask you before, Nauszika, was that Nauszika, as you said, is a Greek name. Is Greece part of the Balkans? Would you say that Greece is part of the Balkans?
Yeah, in a lot of sense, Greece is also part of the Balkans, and in a lot of sense, it isn't, as well as Hungary. So it is, you can say it is part of it, but you just don't.
Yeah. That's interesting. I always love this idea of different nationalities, and that's something that I love about Hungary is it's this giant melting pot, and you have all sorts of different regions, particularly if you look at the pre-Trianon map. Before World War I, you have the Felvidék, you have
Vojvodina. Vajdaság.
Vajdaság. And where is Vajdaság?
It's in Serbia, and this is an autonomous region.
Uh-huh.
In Serbia, it's a little bit similar according to the rules to Kosovo.
The Kosovo.
Yeah, this kind of autonomic thing.
Oh, wow.
Meaning they're not a part of the Serbian government, or they have their own kind of governmental structure.
They do have their own government here.
Yeah, I think autonomy and the idea of like borderless societies is something that's very interesting about the millennial generation, because we've all traveled so much and we've existed in sort of this social system that is potentially a little bit apolitical, I would say, where we kind of just have this ideal of traveling and working in other places, especially with you guys living in this Erasmus European Union era of Hungary. And I know that you've both traveled a lot, right? Where else have you lived besides Hungary? Either one of you can start.
What does it mean to live?
Have you lived somewhere on like a more permanent basis outside of Hungary's borders?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in Erasmus, with Erasmus program in abroad. It was in Tel Aviv and also in Aarhus in Denmark. And I was living in Germany for a longer time, but...
Tel Aviv, Israel, Aarhus in Denmark, and you also were living in Germany?
Yeah, and I was traveling.
So you've had a little bit of a nomadic existence.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And what about you, Nauszika? Where are some of the places that you've lived?
Well, for a longer period, I only lived in Croatia, in Savudrija, and I spent a lot of time in Italy and in Greece, of course. But that's mostly it, like
what part of Greece? Your family comes from the north of Greece, you said?
Yeah, they come from the north, but in 1942, my grandparents came to Hungary.
In 1942.
Yes, and when they went back in Epirus, this is the part of Greece where they came from. Their lands were bombed down, so they had nothing left there. So most of them moved to Athens or Thessaloniki.
Oh, wow. And then part of your family came to Hungary.
Yeah, no, part of my family stayed. So never went back or went back, but decided to rather stay in Hungary.
Oh, wow, that's cool. I'm very intrigued by this generational question, especially when it relates to like nomadicism. And I feel like we've all probably benefited from this idea of open borders and traveling. Is that something that's been challenging about this coronavirus situation, to not be able to travel?
Yeah, we had to, as I guess like most of us. So we had to like replan everything from scratch, basically. By
the way, if you guys can hear that growling, that's our fifth guest of the podcast. His name is Momo, and he's a beautiful half white, half black little dog. I think he's a mix between a few breeds, right?
Yeah, she's a border collie Jack Russell.
Did I just say he? I apologize. A border collie Jack Russell.
Yeah. And she also have identity problems, so she can be a he sometimes. Yeah.
So she also sort of represents the nomadic millennial generation of border collie.
And we can be
Jack
grateful
Russells.
for the virus because she came before, in May or June. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I would have gone to America, to the Midwest.
So before the virus, you wanted to go to the Midwest of America?
Yeah, just on I think the 12th of March would have been my
Was
my
it
date
for
of
this
traveling.
documentary?
Yeah.
For the documentary or for another?
No, that was another. I had other reasons for that, so that was cancelled, and then we decided on doing the Balkan thing. But yeah, so back to your question, what was it?
To be honest with you, I lost my track of thought when we were talking about...
Yeah, the travel restrictions, that we couldn't really travel. Yeah, for a few months we couldn't really travel, and so we replanned everything and started the Millennial project in the summer, like more seriously.
After I came back from Portugal.
After she came back from Portugal.
Where were you in Portugal? I want to hear about... Tom's been to Portugal also.
I love Portugal.
No?
I love Portugal.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's. I mean, I've been there one time, but it was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Where were you?
Firstly, I've been in island of Faro. Mm-hmm. This is the most southest point, and then I went to Porto to visit some friends, and then we had the half of the team over there.
Yeah, right. Half of the documentary team lives in Porto. The co-director with you, it's a co-directed project, correct? That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I love Faro's down in the Algarve, and I love the Algarve. That's a beautiful place of the world. Lots of amazing rock formations and beautiful beaches, and Sagres on the coast is wonderful. I mean, the whole strip down through Lagos and Faro and all those places is really remarkable.
Yeah, and also there was not, all these people from around the world. So there were just really the people from the villages, and it was so.
Oh, cool! So you
cool.
traveled there in the
post-COVID
post-COVID world. You went to Portugal.
I mean, it was in this summer, so
yeah, right.
It was between the first wave or the second wave. I don't know how to count this anymore.
Yeah, now we're on the
this is the third
right?
one, or I don't know.
This is the third in Hungary.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so it was between of those two.
Cool. And what was that interesting traveling? You mentioned traveling in a post-COVID environment. There's a lot less people, because I remember when I went to the Algarve, for example, in Portugal, and that was 2000 and I want to say 17. And it was beautiful. I loved it. Tremendous time. One thing that I would say though was it was just choked and suffocated with tourists. And I think that's something maybe, I don't know. I mean, obviously we don't want this situation because this is terrible for everyone, especially from a business level. But when we look back towards the post-COVID world, maybe finding a middle ground between the two.
Well, I found Budapest just lovely. I mean, I so loved it in April. It was so nice to walk on the street and see nobody. And, the Danube was blue, actually blue, not that brown. The sky, you could see the sky. And
all right. They have that song, the Cake Duna, and it's never actually blue. I thought it was Zolt. I think it's more like green.
Yeah, it's greenish, brownish most of the time.
Yeah, and now there's no boats down it. You used to get all these European river cruises, and I mean that's something that's...
I like that fact.
You like that there's no boats?
Yeah, I mean boats are okay, but so many of them always. Mm-hmm. I don't want to sound so pessimistic about that, but
what do you guys think the Hungarian mentality is a bit pessimistic? Would you say that?
Compared to what? Like generally?
Generally.
I think yeah.
You think yeah? What about you, Nauszika?
I think so. There is something in it. I think there is a Hungarian, a bit pessimistic mentality. It is also cynicism or
cynicism.
Cynicism.
Yeah. I've always tried to more refer to it as being critical or cynical than being necessarily pessimistic.
Yeah, but we always see the bad side also. So we make fun of it, but you have to highlight it.
Yeah.
If you're Hungarian, you do that, I think.
Well, Hungarians always tell me that they're pessimistic. Like that's one of the favorite things that Hungarians always say. Oh, we're much more pessimistic than you. I mean, I choose to view it sort of as realistic in some ways, and I think in some weird ways it's almost has an edge of optimism or at least nihilism to it. Like during the coronavirus pandemic specifically, people have been a little bit more just like, oh, what the fuck are you going to do? This is get on with your life. It's going to be maybe a little bit shit either way. So we might as well just make the best of it. And that's something that's very attractive to me because, or do you disagree with that?
I heard a quote at work once that tried to describe the difference between American and Hungarian mentality with people, specifically when working with them. And it was saying that if you think of a trust bucket, everyone has a trust bucket, which is like how much trust they have for the people that come to them and the ideas that come to them. The Americans, just to put everyone in a box, this isn't completely accurate, start with everyone's trust bucket is full. So you come, you hear an idea, and you immediately trust it, and you're excited about it, and you want to go forward, and you're supportive. On the other hand, the Hungarian trust bucket starts empty, and you need to work to fill it. So that's not going. That's the cynicism. So it's not necessarily pessimistic. It's maybe more realistic, and it needs more proof for support.
The trust buckets,
but I don't even necessarily trust who I heard this from. But I liked this way of looking at the situation.
Yeah, I like this way.
Yeah. Well, obviously,
I mean, it sounds nice. It's compelling.
Yeah. Everyone is an individual, of course, and you can get a given Hungarian that's so optimistic he thinks he's going to the moon tomorrow or something, and then you can get American that is just like cursing his luck every day of the week. I know a few of them. But as a generality, I guess there maybe is something to be said about the Hungarian mentality. Do you think that's a consequence of history?
I mean, our history was like really hard, and we all the time did like, not putting our energies together, but separated. So I don't know. Maybe our history was like this because we were like pessimistic, so maybe it's the way around. I don't know, but I really feel something like this. But personally, I have friends who doesn't have this, because I don't like the pessimistic people. So I have this girl and some others and some guys who are not about this.
Yeah, But that's also, to go deeper with the Hungarian personality for a moment. Or potentially the next hour, who knows? But like when you read about these stories, as I was last week, about Kopan and István and this idea of this pagan past.
You love this.
I love it also because you can see it manifest through the Hungarian like rave culture. Like Kopan was just this like pagan guy with multiple wives who was like doing, I mean, obviously we know that maybe he was actually a Byzantine Christian and worked within the system just as much as István. Maybe he didn't even exist. But for example, in like the artistic displays of him in like István Akirály rock opera, you see that there's this sort of rave pagan mentality, and I can see that in festivals like a Zora festival, or just the whole Hungarian ideal of enjoying life. And just, it's sort of weird, right? Between this pessimism, you also have like a real joy of life and a real like love of partying and celebrating.
Yeah, there is a saying in Hungarian that a magyar sírva mulat.
Yeah.
A magyar sírva mulat?
You know what does it mean?
No.
So you have fun crying. So you do the party, but you're crying meanwhile for some reason.
I like that.
I think we really like to complain. And I think this is something really Hungarian, but I don't know, because now I started to have a very little experience with Balkan and the people from there, and they are really like open-minded. And when I write to someone, hey, I got your contact from someone else, so can we have a talk? Like, yeah, sure, when? And when and it was not in Hungary too. So I also asked some friend of mine, but not so close, but more far. It was like, yeah. And from over there, yeah, let's do this for sure. We are very happy. And they were like, and sometimes I don't understand it. So I think it can be something.
But that's
like
also,
between us.
To just offer a counterpoint, I agree with you that there certainly is. I enjoy looking at things sort of stereotypically, even though it can obviously lead to some negative things, and when people take stereotypes and they use them in a negative sense. But just from a literary perspective, grouping people into these different categories, there's something interesting about it for me. But then again, there's also something to be said for going in somewhere as an outsider, because as an outsider, I happen to experience many of the most amazing things about the Hungarian personality, because there's sort of this ideal of you welcoming someone as a guest, or the same for you if you go to the Balkans or somewhere else. Yeah, I don't know. But
a szomszéd füve mindig zöldebb.
What's that? Szomszéd mindig a fívum szóltát?
Szomszéd füve mindig zöldebb. I don't really know why you said that.
Mit jelent?
The grass of the neighbor
is
greener, is always greener.
The grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's greenest of all in Iowa. Mindig.
Always. Everybody else's yard looks brown to me.
Tell us about Iowa. Sorry, just for...
Nauszika's very excited about your state, by the way.
About Iowa? Yeah, you were going to... Where in the Midwest were you headed?
Well, Iowa, for instance.
Seriously? Why?
Yeah.
She loves corn.
Just love corn.
Yeah, and pigs.
And pigs.
Yeah.
We got them by the bunches. Why were you going to the Midwest?
I wanted to see, Midwestern white working class people, mostly from the rural parts of, for instance, Iowa.
What was did you have a plan, or were you just going to go walk around and knock on people's doors and just say, hey, what's up?
Mostly that, yeah. And, go to bars or pubs or diners. Diners. I wanted to go to diners, meet people, talk to them, and,
Well, when this trip ends up happening, you need to go to Kenny's Garage in Waukee, Iowa. That's where I grew up. That's my hometown bar. It's amazing. It's a garage, and it's run by a guy named Kenny. And there's a pool table and jukebox, and there's live music on Thursdays. It's everything you want from a Midwestern bar.
I will definitely do so.
You've got to go.
Thank you.
Yeah, Iowa's great.
What do you drink when you go to Kenny's?
Jim Beam and Bud Light.
Jim Beam and Bud Light.
That's what the bad taste of beer.
Yeah,
Is. Bud Light sounds awesome.
Yeah, when you go to America, you just kind of change your taste buds change. Like when you cross the border, it's just like a little transition that you have to go through. Beer's very different.
The Palinka is whiskey.
Yeah.
Or
Palinka
moonshine.
Whiskey. Moonshine. Okay.
Yeah, and there's not nearly enough moonshine compared to what it's like here.
Do you guys like Palinka? Teréz?
Yeah, I mean,
Only in the morning.
yeah, sure, definitely.
Reggeli Palinka?
Yeah.
Would you guys like to try some? We have a nice Körte homemade from my friend Whiskey
we should
Barlang.
definitely try it.
My friend, his name is Whiskey Barlang János because his name is János and he has a whiskey cave. Barlang means cave.
Barlang,
Whiskey Barlang János. And he's
Whiskey Barlang,
yeah, he's from Komárom and he made this Palinka for me, him and his father.
Thank you.
And I've tried it.
Thank you,
I found
Ray.
it to be phenomenal. I'm excited to see what you guys think.
Oh, you've already had it.
Well, you can see there's, at least 3 shots.
Yes, some part of
The
the
fridge
thing.
monster has struck. That's what we like to. Willie and I used to live together, and late night I would just hear rustling in the kitchen, and it was, I would say that the fridge monster had arrived because Willie would be rummaging through the fridge.
Alexa calls me the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there is that thing, you do that. Open the fridge and just go through it. And
Do you guys have a favorite midnight snack? Is there anything that you would eat if you woke up in the middle of the night?
Hoo-ha.
anything I can find.
Yeah, it depends on what there is at home, because now when shops are closed after 7, it's really tricky to get something from because I loved those middle night shops.
All right.
Wow, that's
we can sip it or
here's to Jó beszélgetés and
Jó beszélgetések.
Jó barátok.
Jó új barát.
Whiskey Barlang János.
Whisky Barlang János.
Barátok. Jó új barátok.
Egészségetekre.
barátokra, egészség. You actually do that.
That's the patented Willy swirl.
It's good because I like that they put the whole fruits in there, the curte. But what do you guys think?
And
I can get carried away.
if you smell it afterwards, you can actually smell the fruit. So never before, but after.
It's actually very good. Yeah, not that sharp actually. That's the one thing
It's
that's
good.
palinka can be painful, and then at the end, you kind of have the whiff of fruit just coming off the alcohol. But that's very, very good.
Yeah, I was delighted to receive it right off the bat. János, she goes, Willie, Mizu, and then he just hands me a bottle of palinka. Okay, we're best friends. Thank you. But him and his dad handmade this in Komárom. I always find that the handmade palinka is more often better, right?
Yeah, házi pálinka is always the best.
Házi palinka.
I've always been fascinated with the kind of why palinka, why it's so prevalent. Do any of your family? I guess you grew up in Buda, so not necessarily
we
in
didn't have this
agricultural.
kind of
But
things.
did your family have any kind of
No,
agricultural
unfortunately
background?
not.
None extended family or anything?
No.
Okay.
Everyone is from the city mostly.
Okay.
Like, they used to do in Greece, but no palinka.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually something that I love is the sort of moonshine culture in every country because everyone has their own. I mean, in America we have moonshine.
Moonshine.
Here, obviously, palinka. Somewhere like the Balkans, they have a lot of rakia or raki. Yeah, it's nice. I like experimenting with the different ways to try to kill yourself by drinking.
And what did they do in Greece?
Yeah, I am thinking of the name.
Okay.
It's palinka. It's very similar to palinka.
But it's not
palinka.
that. What is really warm?
What?
What is warm? Like so warm. There was a drink. What was, I don't know,
A warm Greek drink.
30%. Yeah.
Ouzo?
It was
Ouzo?
very
Ouzo is
warm.
not ouzo tastes bad, but if you drink it with with a lot of ice and some water and with the small fishes, baked, then it tastes great. So
Or
with
next
the
to
fish.
coffee, it's nice as well, right?
Yeah, with coffee maybe. Zsája. It's made of zsája, which is, I have no idea.
The Greeks, you guys have so much. You have so many different cool drinks and artistic. I guess when you're such an old society, is that something you find that's prevalent in Greek society? This idea that we're like the cradle of Western civilization?
I don't see that. Like you can feel it in a way, I think, but I am also an outsider in a way there. So I see in it. I mean, when I talk to people, I somehow imagine that, yeah, you are much older than me. Yeah, like in spirit. And
do you like this idea of mythology in Greece? Is that something attractive to you in your own identity?
It is.
Is it prevalent?
Also being Greek, like half Greek, it is very important to me. I mean, I never lived there. I spent like most of my summers when I was a child there, but I never lived there for a longer period. I was also planning to, afterwards, America. I was planning to move to Greece, and I still plan to sometime.
Oh, that's great. Where in Greece? In the north where your family's from, or down south by the islands?
Haven't decided yet. First to the north. I really want to go around the place where my family came from. I really want to explore that. It really became very important to me. To my identity, to my that. So yeah, I find Greece very important to me, but also the islands. I want to see the islands, and I want to live on an island.
You Greeks are spoiled for choice. Just to even say I want to live on an island. I mean, I guess it's open to all of us. We could all retire to Greek islands. That sounds not too bad.
We could all transplant to Greece. This is actually coming back to what we talked about the last episode. It's like kind of similarities between Iowa and Hungary that are weird. This idea of transplanting is really common in Iowa because it's a relatively cheap place to live. There's a good public school system and it's very safe. So a lot of people move there to live like, a middle class, nice life and raise a family. And as far as I can tell, there's a lot of transplanting that goes on here. It sounds like your family transplanted from Greece to Hungary at one point, and there's a lot of other people that have found their way to Hungary. I think the origins of the country in general was basically just people transplanting here and calling it the land of the Magyars. Mm-hmm. What was it like for your family? Like, were you welcomed in as, Greek immigrants? You obviously don't know, but maybe you have some insight.
Yeah, it was very, very well organized then. I mean, there was a revolution in Greece then, and so my grandparents, the village where they used to live and all the land where they used to live, they were bombing it, the fascists, and so they had to escape or flee, and so they started walking, but I don't know who exactly, but many countries worked together to help them, to help all these refugees. And so Hungary took in, I don't know how many, but many children. Mm-hmm. So they were organizing trains and buses and everything to take to collect children together, families together, and take them to safe places. Mm-hmm. And that's how they got to Budapest. And they were welcome. And the children got their own school. They could learn Greek, and also they could learn Hungarian. So I think that was a very good time in Hungarian history, that they were actually welcoming compared to, like 2015.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so that's an interesting analogy that you make between the Greek refugee crisis of 1942 and then to the Syrian refugee crisis of today.
Because, it is, I think it is important to make that, and because I don't think that I think Hungary is welcoming.
Yeah.
And I think we can manage it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Hungarian mentality, and that's something that sort of ties this whole region together, I think, is this idea of welcoming visitors in some respects, at least on the positive side of things. You have like the dichotomy between the very non-welcoming people, but if you look back in the culture, there's a lot of tradition of welcoming travelers. Maybe it goes back to nomadic steppe horse lords. Yeah.
On the other hand, you can also understand the fear. Why we fear? Because Hungary has been invaded, yeah, so many times.
Yeah, it's easy to sit there in like the Western European capitals and say, oh, welcome all the stuff, when you have natural borders that make the process a little bit easier. But Hungary does have quite stark lessons in the past particularly like 150 years of Ottoman domination and things of that nature, you can see why being this chunk of meat in the center of Europe that's overlapped with a lot of different empires, you can be a little bit more cautious.
Yeah, and you also try to, save everything for yourself. I think after a while, but I really don't know. But I think that this is why the message can resonate.
Right. That's cool.
And so, what is your role in the documentary? Unfortunately, Teréz has just gone to the bathroom, but I am curious what you're doing with the.
I am doing the background research, mostly on millennials and the psychological patterns that we were talking about, like narcissism, borderline, whatever, and on the Balkan region. Really used to help me with that, and script writing mostly.
Nauszika is a researcher, which I find to be a very interesting, or something that I think people would be interested in. Is what is the day in the life of a researcher?
How is my day?
Well, I see you in the park. I research a lot, so I sort of feel like I know how it works, but I'm curious as to like how your research habits are. Like I see you in the park. You tell me that you've been working since 3 a.m, burning the midnight candle, and I'm just wondering what's the process? What are you doing in those long sessions of research?
Well, I read a lot, so I read the literature, like recent research. To know where to begin. I also, social media is a very good source.
Right. You told me that you're very interested in researching propaganda techniques, correct?
Yeah, it is correct.
That is super cool.
I just found out a few years back that propaganda is something that really interests me deeply. And I actually don't just want to, research it and understand it. I really want the opportunity to once, try myself in it.
As a propagandist.
Yeah, mass communication is a very, very interesting thing for me, and I think I really want to give it a try. Once.
You mean you want to give it a try to produce propaganda, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it would be nice.
I just have to find the cause.
Yeah, well, in a sense, that's what, I feel like I'm a propagandist for myself sometimes, or maybe not sometimes, maybe all the time, but that's sort of inevitable when you're in this world of creative production, I suppose. You end up being your own propagandist, fueled on by things like social media. Propaganda is a word.
Yeah, what is the difference between propaganda and just traditional making of content that, for example, you do or anybody does when they post on social media? Like, what makes propaganda?
Well, propaganda, first of all, in my impression of it, sometimes has a negative connotation because it gets tied back a lot, this root word, to 1930s European fascism with Mussolini and Hitler and things. And it's like Joseph Goebbels was a propagandist, for instance. So it has this negative connotation, but maybe the word itself, if you look at it, it just means what? What does propaganda even mean?
It is, it is sharing and information to everyone. So it comes from Christian tradition. So propaganda used to mean that you go and spread the word and make them understand and help them think the way you do.
And how? So what separates propaganda from evangelism then? Is that to me that what you just described is evangelism in my mind?
Yeah, and you are right. I think that's basically it. So you build a mindset, and there is long-term propaganda, there is short-term propaganda. So in the short term, you want to get people do something right away or change their mind right away. Long-term propaganda, helps you, or not helps you, but makes you understand what's the style now. So if you are, for instance, a businessman or whoever, you watch the movies and you just know how your flat should look like. You just know how you should spend your days. And so there are many types of propaganda. It is not just one thing, and it is not just that pejorative thing. It can be also, what Greenpeace tries to do, to call your attention to.
Yeah,
It also has a dictionary definition, which I've just learned. The first definition, capitalized, propaganda capitalized, capital P. A congregation of the Roman Curia having jurisdiction over missionary territories and related institutions. So it goes all the way back to ancient Rome. And the Curia, I'm not exactly sure who the Curia were, but the Curia, they had the propaganda. And that's quite cool, thinking about their jurisdiction over missionary territories and related institutions, particularly because Budapest was one of those missionary territories where the propaganda would have had influence all the way back in the days of Hadrian and Marcus Aurelius, who wrote his Stoic Meditations on the banks of the Danube. And propaganda has had its role in society since the ancient times. And
yeah,
I think,
to spread the word, to keep society together, to have the common line of thought. So
a common line of thought. That's interesting. And you're also a linguist, right?
No, I mean, I learned linguistics, but I am not a linguist.
Okay, well, that's good that you have a careful appreciation for the meaning of language, and you knew to correct me there, because I think that's a very linguistic mindset. But you're quite interested in words and the origin of them, would you say?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's super cool.
But I'm a bit more interested in the present state of the language. So history of the words. It is very interesting and yeah, it is exciting and yeah, it has significance. But the change that you witness actually in your life, it is also very interesting, and it is also part of the propaganda. Like words that you use and they start to fill in your everyday life, and you don't even realize. Like, let's say fake news. How long has it been that you actually use that expression? Yeah, it didn't start when you were 5. It started a few years ago.
Actually, I read about that. It was starting the war when it was in Ukraine, like 15. It was connecting with that. But I think all this thing in propaganda and everything, I started to be really interested because of Nauszika and all this, like the words and the linguistic part. Like we had a lot of talks during Corona, like, a lot of new words are coming because of this situation. And we had something to write on our board.
Everybody is waiting for the vakcina in Hungary.
Yeah,
we used to call it oltás.
Yes,
everyone knew. I think it was part of the passive vocabulary that you knew that it is vakcina. It is called vakcina, but no one told that. You went to get your oltás. And today no one is waiting for their oltás, the corona oltás. Everyone is waiting for the vakcina.
Yeah, but also pandemia, no? Like, I never used pandemia. Okay, it was not pandemia before, but
epidemic. I mean, epidemic was the biggest word I ever used, but pandemic. Epidemic. I just know it from Lars from 3 Years the Serial, but yeah. So yeah.
Well, just to read the second, because we're still talking about propaganda. To read the second definition, the one that is maybe more broad, which I also just found out, so the second definition is the spreading of ideas, information, or rumor for the purpose of helping or injuring an institution, a cause, or a person. So it's like super duper broad, clearly, and it just makes me think that you guys are already creating propaganda. If you're creating a documentary, it is.
Yeah, I mean, if you are, like, let's say there is a camera, and if you are going to shoot this picture, not that one, you are kind of making your own reality, and after this you are making something what you see and you want to show, and then it can be a propaganda. But this film, I think it's more about, I really like this definition about normality, what we were speaking about, like every generation has its own normality, and the other generation, let's say the older generation, say we are not normal and this is not normal what we are doing, but this is actually really normal how we are like reacting to the world what's surrounding us.
It just doesn't fit in the norms.
Yes, yeah.
Well, that's interesting. When we think back to the start of our conversation, we were talking a lot about the differences and similarities of certain nationalities. But now we think about things from a generational point of view, potentially, even though all four of us are from different countries. I mean, two of us are from America, but even different states, and two of us are from Hungary, different family backgrounds. But regardless, we all have a tether to this idea that we're all millennials. So it's cool to look at connections and societal interactions as like this balance between, I think, generational and differences and similarities versus national and pan-national and ultra super hyper national differences and similarities.
What's always hard for me with this, because when we started talking about millennials and everything, I've always been challenged by this idea of generation speak, and your idea of normalization, and this also brought it up for me, is like when so we are going to be the ones that think the generation Y is not normal at some point. Like, when is that point where we are the ones who are saying the people acting now are being not normal? You know what I mean? Like, it's just a rolling, it's going to roll. The window's going to roll, and we're going to be on the side where we're saying, hey,
about the next generation?
Yeah, about the previous generation. Like
previous generation.
About the ones who are younger than us. The younger
We're
generation.
younger than us. I think we already started that.
Right, so I guess it's
we're
just
old
always
enough to say
happening.
that the Generation Z is common.
Yeah,
Okay,
like,
that's
oh,
true.
they,
Really not
they don't know
normal.
how to read
Okay,
books,
okay.
they don't know how to write normally,
Okay.
and so on. We are so grandmother from
Okay.
their point of view.
They're TikTokers.
Yeah.
But maybe they're super... I mean, we might be dealing with like 5-year-olds who are hyper smart computer programmers already, and we don't even know about it. And they've already like launched off into super space and controlled the whole economy. What do you guys think
but
about that?
that's like 3 generations from now.
3 generations from now, the kids are going to be in charge. Might as well let them have edit. I mean, the way that it's going sometimes, you might think, well, let the kids get involved. They might have some innocent solutions.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to die on that hill. I'm not willing to die on that hill.
I love it.
Next
Let's have a
round.
shot.
Yeah. Let's have another one.
It's a good way to fill that airtime.
Yeah, that's. I really haven't ever thought about that before.
I didn't either until last week. But it's nice, actually, because this is a delicious palinka. Thank you again
It is.
to
Thank you.
our good buddy, Whiskey Barlang János.
Whiskey Barlang János. We are propagating Whiskey Barlang
Yes.
János.
This is the big
everyone
propaganda
to go
for
and
him.
see Whiskey Barlang
Yeah.
János.
I mean, he deserves it because the
Close to
guy
home.
just has
Whiskey
a heart of
Barlang
gold.
János.
A heart of gold. I really, really like him a lot.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
let's say
shake it.
if I can be at home before 8.
Yes, to being
After
at home
this.
before 8.
Yeah, before it.
And if not, another shot of palinka should do it.
Egészségütekre.
Egészség. Barlang János, vagy bocsánat. Whisky Barlang János.
Whiskey Barlang János.
I can't really hear you.
His actual name is
No
Whiskey
one.
Cave Room on Instagram. I think it's whiskey
Thank you.
_cave_room. But I call him Whiskey Barlang János because I just think it flows really well.
Yeah.
Sure. Do you think people will find him by that name?
I don't think they need me to find him, to be honest. He's all over the place. Whiskey Barlang
Okay.
János is his own best propagandist. I'm just like chipping in with a little bit of a cheers here and there.
I'm curious what kind of... would you be going... I'm just coming back to the Midwest thing because I can't get over the... Nauszika's going to be in Iowa. Are you going to be collecting... Are you going to just be collecting information there? Or, if you went...
Perspectives.
Collecting perspectives,
yeah,
okay.
mostly.
And is this kind of a fuel for you to understand and educate your desire to eventually propagandize, like to figure out how people think and how best to spread?
I really want to see their perspective, So now, okay. So these are the people that they say, not that they say, the numbers say that these are the people who in 2016 decided the election. Mm-hmm. So they were the swing voters who aren't really Republicans, who aren't really Democrats, who are, who vote based on mostly issues. And I really want to see how they decided what convinced them. I think I have an understanding on that, but I really didn't have the opportunity to talk to them. Mm-hmm. I mean, I read so much, I listened to so many of them, but I never had the opportunity to ask them personally what you personally think. Mm-hmm. And now I can see that the views of them are very nuanced and very personal. So I really want to meet them one by one and hear it one by one. Mm-hmm. Why?
Mm-hmm. And so how does this, I guess this is also what you're doing with this documentary that you're making now. And so we've already learned what you're doing, Nauszika, with the documentary. And what is your role, Teréz, with the documentary? I mean, what are you doing? What's your title? What's your role with this documentary project?
With the Balkan topic?
Yeah.
Because in the other one, I'm just a cheer girl.
there's multiple documentaries going on.
But I'm a very big fan.
Yeah, sorry. I segued unknowingly.
She's the director. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, so I will direct it with a Portuguese guy. And I think, we started it by... with the very big hearts. We are going to make a movement in Balkans, so I'm writing to everyone in the Balkans to make interviews. So basically now I'm making the interviews, making websites, trying to figure out. But we are trying to share these things between us. So
Teréz also
now
is
basically everyone is doing everything.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
All that I was going to say is that you're also like the artistic fuel behind the project in terms of visuals and aesthetics, because you're also an animator and a painter and just a general design wizard
like
or something.
Polyhistor. No, I'm kidding.
What's a polyhistor?
Who can do everything.
A polymath. Is it a Hungarian word, polyhistor?
No, polyhistor, like poly is, that actually comes from Greek.
From Greek,
Poly is like multiple.
Uh-huh.
And... histor, I don't know, polyhistor knows
because I know the term
everything.
polymath.
A polymath, yeah.
It's about who can...
Da Vinci was a polymath.
Oh, we call him like polyhistor.
Okay, so it's the same. So there we go. For linguistics.
Okay, so yeah.
Thank you.
So and then it's gonna be a next challenge to make the visual of the film. It's what can call the millennials. Like we really want to do the film for them. So we don't want to make a movie just with some interviews and like following some people to the kitchen and then to the street and so on. We really want to get to know what's that really good visual, what's catching them.
Uh-huh.
So
and will you be talking so you're interviewing a lot of people from the Balkans about all these subjects, but it sounds like you're more talking to the millennials as an entire generation, not just you're trying to show that there's similarity just within the generation, or are you talking to the Balkan millennials specifically?
Yeah, when we started this, we had this idea, like all the books and articles and so on about the millennials, it's coming from America, and I think we think that it's more depending on geographic. I mean, if we say like the Americans' millennials' biggest trauma is 9/11. I mean, we heard about that and we had something to do with that, but I think if you are going to Serbia, it's much more about the Bulldozer revolution. Was their trauma exactly from the same time, because it was in 2000. So it's and so we have other things, and also we have this common past, the Soviet Union. You had other things over there, so we really try to understand
I think it's a contextualization.
What
you would just hit upon is the contextualization of the millennial development in the Balkan context, I would say.
Okay.
And they have some individual historical patterns. And as well, what I was very intrigued with what Teréz was saying before is this idea of the new media and using something visually interesting and aesthetically interesting for this generation, because we really have the attention spans of goldfish. Like, we're so just stimulated this place, that place, this place, that place. And it really is like going down to the nanosecond.
And we actually test our ideas on you. Like, okay, could Willie really pay attention for that? No. Okay, then let's drop it.
Yeah.
Willie the goldfish.
Oh, great.
But that's a good...
There's always my dream to be a goldfish.
So is that Willie's only role so far?
I'm just the goldfish.
He's just the guinea pig goldfish? Or, Willie, what are you...
No.
Or, well, let's see what...
I would say that my role now, as I see it, is the propagandist.
I just wanted to say that.
You are the propagandist.
He's making our social media.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
he will be our host in the social media.
Yeah, I've just really started. I did a 6-block social media post for the first time. There's nobody following it, but it's whyamihere.world. And there is just 6-block post of a guy from Bulgaria talking about his times. People often forget Bulgaria, similar to Greece, but it's very Balkan in the sense that it is a post-Soviet place. Because one of the interesting things about this hour-long interview that I listened to, that Teréz conducted with this Bulgarian guy, was he was talking about the border between Greece and Bulgaria, which you never think about. During the Soviet times, you think about Berlin Wall, but the Bulgarian-Greek border was a extension of the Berlin Wall, because a lot of citizens in the GDR and the Eastern Bloc, they would try to get to the paradisical wonderlands of the Greek coast via Bulgaria. And you can even see there's this big canyon that's carved out and a really deep river valley where you had to cross it. And you can imagine the people that were willing to risk their lives back then. But either way, yeah, that was what I posted about. And I posted about Indiana Jones because I think the guy was an archaeologist and he fell in love with a Ukrainian girl in Portugal. It's a very interesting conversation, actually. But Teréz is going through a sequential series of conversations from around the Balkans, whether it's Bulgaria, former Yugoslavia, even Hungary, because Hungary is sort of this Balkans extended. As we said, it's not really part of the Balkan region. But if you look at the Hungarian borderlands, like Vojvodina or Vajdaság, that's certainly Balkan. And even if you look down in Croatia, there's a huge history of Hungary in that region. So again, the contextualization of all of that is incredibly intriguing.
Mm-hmm. And I love kind of what you were touching on, Teresa, that and Willie, you highlighted that it's, and what I was asking is that it's not just for the Balkans, not just for the subjects of this documentary. It's about contextualizing for the whole millennial generation.
Yeah, that would be the ultimate goal.
This is the propaganda that's being created.
That's crazy. We're all propaganda. Well, it's interesting that the propaganda, the first definition was something from Rome, because their propaganda is timeless. We're even following it today. That's crazy, right? Like, we're still using all of their words.
I mean, I think when we started to be in groups, like at least with 3 people, then started the propaganda, no?
Yeah, I think so.
And that's it. Yeah, now it's much more easier because we have media and so on, but anyway, it's...
The mass is much bigger.
Yeah,
those cave drives.
You need those instruments.
Yeah. So we need to be very loud about our project. No, I'm kidding. But
in general, that is interesting to think about. Do people have to be loud nowadays? Because I think there is something to be said for like a more minimalist approach, and something that I certainly struggle with, because I think I propagandize myself quite a bit. But either way, I'm still very intrigued and attracted to minimalist advertising and stuff that's a little bit more, I don't know, has an air of secrecy and allure to it.
I mean, I think the epitome of success for people who aren't like Disney and Marvel and these people who have huge money who can propagandize at an insane level. I mean, virality is depending on your interpretation of minimal, it's sort of minimal because you've made it interesting enough for somebody that they want to share it again. And it's like, So you create the propaganda and it lives by itself. Like it has to spread by its own fodder. It has to spread by its own...
Yeah, but you should have like multiple starting points. So not just one type liked by one person who shares it over, but another type also with another type of person, with another type of circle, with a different message that still resonates with yours. So I think it is that complex, more complex than that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's very cool. Yeah, so the different groups and the different starting points have different messages that all tie to the same context, which is fascinating. Wow.
Cool. Do you guys feel like the Roman history of Budapest is something that you are interested in? The idea that Budapest used to be a Roman colony?
Yeah. It never... I honestly, it doesn't really, I don't really feel that.
You don't think about it too much?
Not really. I mean, we live close to Aquincum, and we know some stuff of Budapest is from those times.
Right.
But I don't really feel any Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you feel that?
Well, yeah. I mean, I spent quite a bit of time amongst the Roman ruins out there, and like I was very interested in Roman history specifically. But that being said, I can see like in the most Hungarian people would agree with Nauszika that there's not really too much of a Roman past, because you don't see it passed down in the same way you do in Italy, of course, and even places like France, which was Gaul, and even Germany. I don't know. Hungary was really a borderland, which is interesting. Going back to that definition of propaganda, it said specifically that propaganda was used in these border territories to sort of preach the gospel of Rome abroad.
And so many things happened since then, So we had to suffer through so many propaganda, and we had to, conform so many times, and so that's so old.
I think what Nauszika said, it's really, really true, because I just started to feel it during these interviews. Like the last strongest thing is the thing what you experience and your nation experience. So I can't really think about the Roman Empire because
you think of
because we have now this what we have.
Yeah, and Turkish and Slavic and whatever. So so many things and many people, so many tribes since then.
Yeah, it's true. But there still is a cultural appreciation. If you go out to Aquincum, you can see some nice ruins, and even the idea that the bathhouses, the Romans, they just celebrated and loved the baths. Do you guys love the baths? Do you love the...
Yes, that's something I'm so grateful
and I really hope they are going to open very soon.
It was supposed to be March 5th, like just around March 15th, middle of March, they said, but now I don't know, because they're shutting down everything else, so I can't imagine. The baths, controversial to go there during the Corona times. I went.
We went.
Oh. I went too with my mother, yeah.
But,
if you had to, give one the blue ribbon or the number one, the gold star, what's the best bathhouse in Budapest?
I think it is Gellért, like in objective terms, but my favorite is Király.
Yeah.
Okay.
My one too.
Well done. That's good.
4 points for Király. Four out of 4. 4 out of 4.
Okay, 4.
I'm glad that you said that. And they say that Király is Zarva, and not nem csak Zarva, mert minden gyógyfedő most Zarva. De Király Zarva, és nem tudom, de nagyon
Hogy érted, hogy zárva?
Hogy érted? Nem tudom, csak olvastam, azt hiszem.
Olvastam?
Igen.
Milyen?
Nem.
Milyen ember?
Mert utána csináltak gyógyfürdő nyitva, bathhouse open, és utána Lukács nyitva, Gellért nyitva, Széchenyi nyitva, múlt nyár. De most Király nem nyitva, és azt hiszem, azt mondták, Király Zarva.
Yeah, maybe they don't wanna open anymore, because I was reading something like that too. So I think Zarva is there is not going to be an opening anymore. You mean that?
Oh, you guys are trying to figure out what I mean?
Yeah,
A little bit.
Zarva and Willy
it's
Hungarian.
really like it's
Closed forever.
Zarva. So
Yeah, that's
Shut down.
never opened
I think that's
again.
something that I just made up. Zarva means that it's closed forever.
Does it?
Does it?
That's what I heard. I'm very upset by it.
I thought this was
No.
coming from a legitimate source that Kira is dead.
But I heard it. It's a source.
Okay, then.
I heard it's a source. Where's the source in that sentence?
There was an
Sorry?
article about it.
I've seen a guy named Tamas.
Some sort of article. We'll look into it.
Okay,
It might have
we'll
just been
look into it.
propaganda.
Okay, I just don't want to believe that. Okay.
Okay. Well, I hope not. But
And I won't.
if it's true, I want to mobilize just some people to think about, I don't know, petitioning to not shut down a 16th century monument to the art of bathing. And,
Definitely not.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm glad we're all on the same page.
Four for four. Kirai. On this podcast, 4 for 4.
Király is király.
What does király mean, by the way?
Király is
What?
king.
King. Cool.
Igen, tudom, de talán mindenki nem tud.
All the
okay.
people
Not
on
all
the
of us.
episode.
Yeah.
No.
So it has a meaning of a király, the king, and also cool, like király.
Yeah, we have the slang.
That's true. Király is like you say if it's something really cool. Menu is also cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like
It is.
Manu is in the same level as Király.
And then asta is like wow.
Asta.
Asta.
Wow. Yeah.
Imagine, yeah. Múlt héten, or last week I made my own translations with my teacher for the first time, because usually I got this guy Cornell that does it for me, and he does a great job with the translations, but last week I just wanted to try it. And so I learned a lot actually doing that, like with Orshi, our wonderful teacher. She was listening to me say the English transcripted version. So I typed out all the words in English, and then I would say, I think that most vagyok komaromon, bács komaromban, és most Orshi Google Docs on Google Docs, or she would then write in like the correct way. By the end, we had to rush a lot more, but it was a very interesting process. It taught me the word asta, is wow, because I'm just saying these like weird things all the time, like wow or super, or I learn actually a lot about English because I start every sentence with and but, and it's terrible. What are you going to do? I'm getting carried away.
Try to
But
do
it's okay, it's linguists actually say that starting the sentence with but and it is okay. You are thinking while you are speaking, so you don't have to say always meaningful words. You will have to say sometimes a but, a then, while, I think. So yeah, you have to fill your sentences with that, and you give yourself time to think about what you are going to say.
Wow.
So that's not a problem. You can say and but
Okay, cool.
at the beginning of the sentence, I think.
And you've just propagandized linguists as the arbiters of the language, that you guys get to make all the rules.
I think that's very important because I think linguists, just know better. Like they if a linguist is okay with you starting a sentence with but, then, why would anyone else tell you not to?
That's
Well,
true. I like
Why
that.
would anyone else? Why should anyone else?
Why
But people
should?
still
Should,
They
would,
simply
could.
shouldn't, because the experts say that it is okay, and it actually helps you to make the sentence that you will.
Linguistics is an interesting study, actually, because it really brings in a whole lot of different fields like philosophy, logic, history, social sciences, things that you would even think about. Linguistics has a very diverse application. I think there's a lot of famous linguists, right? Who's a famous linguist?
give us a famous linguist.
I would say Nádasdy Ádám, who is also, he a poet.
What's his name?
Nádasdy Ádám.
Nauszika V.
He has very good poems also, and he's a very good linguist. I mean, I don't know him personally. He's alive, so he's
You guys ever hear of the cunning linguists?
cunning.
The Cunning Linguists. It's a rap group in America, and it's like a play on words on cunnilingus.
Okay, yeah. I thought you were trying to catch me there. I don't know this rap group. Are they good?
I think it's in America. Now I'm saying everything's in America. Like the other day, I made an episode about István Király rock opera, which
So you saw that?
I saw all three versions. I saw it in 1984. I saw 2003 in Csík Somlyó.
Yeah.
I saw 2008 with Feke Paul. and they were all tremendous. I mean, I loved it. I really loved it. I'm a big Kopan guy. And
You should see Nap Legenda.
Nap Legenda?
Nap Legenda. Yeah, it was a show of Állami Népi Együttes with the music made by Nikola Parov. And that is... music
Nice.
from East, from Hungary, from the Balkans, mixed together.
Oh, wow.
It is really a very good musical experience, and also the dancers, like the dance show, it is based on like folk dancing, but it's a very good show. Yeah, you really should listen to it.
Delightful. Nap Legenda.
Nap Legenda, yeah.
Cool. I'm very interested in this Hungarian cultural history as well. It's really cool just to see all the layers. I mean, István Király, which is so cool to learn about. And I love there's two Zsulas. There's two guys named Zsula. There's Deák Bill Zsula, who plays the Tautos.
Hobo.
The Hobo Bill's Bland. He's this one-legged guy. He lost his leg when he was 11 years old. And he became the leading blues singer in Hungary. And he has the voice like a rock god, a blues god, excuse me, of course.
You should listen to Fekete Jenő if you want to listen to
Fekete
blues
Jenő.
music.
Reklama.
Okay.
No, sorry. I have a good friend, he's Fekete Jenő. He's, an older guy, but he used to be a blues star in Hungary.
Cool.
And he really plays a good blues music. So as Americans, I think you will check it out.
I will write down. What was his name? Fekete Jenő.
Jenő.
You have very good, how to say it?
I can just intimidate people really well. I couldn't do it if she didn't just say it.
But anyway.
Yeah.
And then the other Zsula was Vicky Dahl Zsula, who plays Kopan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there's two Zsulas. There's Deák Bill and there's Vicky Dahl. And I want to know from you two, Teréz, you can start. Which one? Vicky Dahl or Deák Bill? Who do you choose?
This is not really my...
But if you had to bring one of them with on a team of yours that you were playing some competition and you wanted to win the competition.
I have to.
What kind of competition? Because
Yes.
if it's running,
then
swimming.
I know I'm not
Swimming?
Swimming.
correct.
No, it's not. It's
If it's a swimming
Willie's.
competition, I would choose
Willie's.
Vicky.
swimming competition. You would choose Vicky Dahl because he's like a giant Nordic god, Hungarian guy that plays Kopan. But if it was a singing competition, that's probably the better question because they're both singers. They both have great voices. But if you could just choose one voice, Vicky Dahl or Deák Bill Zsula.
About a night out of the town at the karaoke bar at Kenny's Garage. Who do you bring with you?
That's a much better question. I like that a lot.
So-
Night out at the bar, Kenny's Garage, Bud Light,
Karaoke
Jim
night.
Beam.
Okay, I don't know because I just heard Vicky Dahl in this project, so I don't know anyway how he's doing.
Cool.
With this job, so I could, Nauszika help
So
me.
no visit to the karaoke bar then.
choose for you.
That's what we call in America. We have a term called the filibuster, and it's in the Senate. And you basically, this is a real rule, believe it or not, in American politics, is that when the senators they want to stall on a debate, basically, and not have anything get voted for, they can do a filibuster where they literally just talk and talk and talk.
That's
and
the
talk.
impediment of it.
That's the origination back in, we're talking early 20th century. Now you don't even have to talk. You just say, I'm going to filibuster.
Yeah.
And that means you need 60 votes to pass a bill instead of 50. And to get a 60 vote majority in the American Senate is very difficult. So the filibuster, anyway, Teréz just filibustered.
Nice move.
And
Tough
Nauszika,
question. Tough question.
For you, Deák Bill or Vicky Dahl Zsula?
In Kenny's Garage?
In Kenny's Garage, karaoke night, Thursdays.
I think I would take Deák Bill Zsula.
Deák Bill.
Maybe, I think he's like singing and talking at the same time. So that's the style we need there in Kenny's Garage.
That's the style. Yeah, that's the style people are asking for in Kenny's, especially after all that Jim Beam.
Yeah, and I think he would be good with Jim Beam.
Yeah.
And we could talk and sing just above a Jim Beam.
Actually, I was thinking about this the other day. Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, your name, Tom Bean, could be a good whiskey.
Can
we talk to...
Let's do a Hungarian whiskey from your name.
Whiskey Barlang János, Tom
Whiskey
Bean.
Barlang János, but okay, you now have to like admit that Whiskey Barlang János is not the name that you are looking
So
for,
you want
because
the next
it
round?
is so hard to memorize. Whiskey Barlang
it's easy.
János.
So, no, that's not true. I saw someone the other
Barlang
day.
Whiskey János.
Believe it or not, I saw someone out in the day the other day, and they told me, "Oh, I love Whiskey Barlang János." They remembered.
We're having a farewell shot. Thank you to Whiskey Barlang János.
Thank you to Whiskey Barlang János.
I don't know if you want a full one or...
No.
Might not.
A farewell shot. So, to wrap this conversation up, after we take our shot, I just want you guys to think about the future. And after our shot, we will go from there, and then probably about 10 minutes left of conversation.
Of
So
the
to
future.
the next
Only
future.
10 minutes left of the future. What would you do?
Yeah, wow.
You only have 10 minutes.
But 10 minutes, remember, it could
Of
be an
future
ever-expanding amount of time. You never know. We're talking about relativity here, Einstein. Here's
The
Einstein.
redshift. Here's to Einstein. Here's to the universe expanding and eventually dying in a cold mess.
Finally.
Wow, you finished the bottle. That's great.
Oh my god. Here is Kenny's Garage. I will be passing it around just for everyone to fully conceptualize the future and what is the beauty of
Wow.
Kenny's Garage.
Maybe
You've
you
been
should...
there?
Maybe you should take Fekete Jenő to Kenny's Garage. No?
I really do want to. I mean, I have this... So, like with Fekete Jenő, the last album that you will see, a solo album of Fekete Jenő, it's a very good album, and the best musicians of Hungary are playing on it.
Look at this photo, it's so authentic.
And I've been
wow.
working with him.
Kenny's Garage. This place looks great. Fekete Jenő would fit right in there.
I think so. Have you ever seen Fekete Jenő?
No,
But he would, anyways.
but I can just tell. Jenő is an interesting name. Is that like a name, Jenő?
I wanted to ask you if you knew that
Yeah.
Gyula used to mean, I don't remember if it was the religious or the military leader. I think it was the military leader in Hungary.
It was.
Gyula, you know?
I'm calling, as you say that, I'm calling Kenny's Garage to see if we can get them on the line.
Oh.
But the Gyula was the military leader in Transylvania,
Yeah, thank you.
in Erde.
Okay.
And I think that's why you see a lot of towns out there named like Gyulafehérvár.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. This is the dial tone that everyone's hearing. This is Willie typing in.
If you want to know the number for Kenny's Garage,
Is it Kenny's Garage? Yeah, they are closed now. Maybe the phone will work.
I just called them in Hungary with the +36. The Americans is slightly different.
Thanks, Whiskey
Barlang.
János. There we go. I needed to start.
But this is the best.
It's really,
stuff.
really good. Yeah.
You should eat this. Because full of with palinka, these things are can be really...
The kerte, the pears. We can have that for breakfast tomorrow. A little kerte pear.
Is that a
This
saying?
is the Hungarian.
Is this a Hungarian saying that palinka csak reggel van? Or just csak reggel?
Csak régen.
Like you said
From
earlier.
all time?
Just in reggeli. Nem
Reggeli.
Reggel.
Yeah.
No, it was a joke. Like,
Okay,
you know,
so it's not
but
a
yeah,
saying.
you drink a palinka in the morning, so your blood pressure goes up, and
Yeah, my
better
blood
than
pressure's
coffee.
through the roof, right?
It lifts the spirits. All right, we'll give
Because
Kenny's Garage one
it's
more
a joke
ring.
because we are really an alcoholic nation. So
okay,
this is
right.
why she told
and
like
you know,
just
when
for
you do
breakfast.
physical work or whatever, and it is cold outside, you just drink a palinka, and that helps.
It improves the circulation. I hear it's the best defense against the virus. Everyone says that Hungary is an alcoholic nation. Is that true?
All the Balkan is alcoholic.
Yeah.
I mean, they say so
But
about themselves, and I think, like, everyone is.
Who's not?
That's
What
the
nation
thing.
is
Who's not? That's a more
notoriously
better
not
question.
alcoholic?
Well, that's the thing, is that every nation has a big drinking problem. I mean, I've lived in many of them.
besides...
Australia.
some places,
Yeah, and
Australia.
also that is a generational problem, and also this is the first generation that explicitly talks about it.
Yeah.
When you admit that,
Yeah.
okay, fuck it, I am an alcoholic and I'm 30 years
What
old.
about Genghis Khan and the boys drinking fermented mare's milk out in the 12th century Mongolian stepplands? They were just blind drunk every day of the week.
But I don't think they they didn't mind.
So it wasn't diagnosed as neuroses.
Nowadays you have like certain rules to conform to, and now and not just the rules, it's also the feel of it. So you actually mind that you are an alcoholist if you are.
Do you think it's a good change, or do you think it's better to have a bunch of Genghis Khans running around, their heads falling off from fermented mare's milk?
I don't know. I mean, it depends. I think it really depends on the age, and it really depends on you. And I don't think that alcoholism would be necessary, like in today's society.
Well, that's an interesting...
I mean, it shouldn't be, because alcoholism means today it means that there is something wrong, very wrong. It is not like that, instead of coffee, like making a coffee, you are drinking palinka, so you have the space to go to war, and it's and you don't. So no, I don't think it is okay in today's society to be an alcoholist. I mean, it is okay because everyone is an alcoholist, but it shouldn't be that way.
In some ways, it's celebrated. I mean, I've found that like a lot of people in the content that I'm making, they relate to the drinking sections a lot because it's like compelling cultural context is how we all...
Cultural drinking is different, but when you are a lonely drinker or and a sad drinker or a depressed drinker, I think that's a problem. Like fun drinking, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then there's some argument to be made that maybe drinking is more likely to be fun in your 20s and your 30s, and that it can be habituated and used as a crutch later on in your life when things might, we have pretty rosy existences as millennials. Obviously, we all have our own problems, but we're still, in the grand scheme of things, in a nice position to be more optimistic. But you hear some stories, a 60-year-old woman who's had 2 kids die and is on welfare or something, that's a lot different.
Yeah. This is actually one thing about the normality thing that I was thinking about. So like right now we have an idea of what being a millennial is, and we have ideals about what is our generational understanding. Does that change over time?
Now we want to explore what exactly is that ideal about our generation is, because we can see what the outside world says. So what the boomers say, what the X generation say, what maybe Z say, but we don't really know how we actually, the generation Y, identify ourselves, and that's what we want to see, how we define our generation and how we define it from a personal point of view.
And perhaps how our generation defines us as well.
Yeah, I think that's included.
Well, I'm excited to see
the
final product. And I hope and I'm sure I'll learn a lot about my own generation and my own understanding of where I stand.
Well, we definitely hope so. And also we definitely hope that we can, somehow connect the Balkans to Iowa at a certain point.
For episode 2.
Well, for me, I'm probably going to have to go on and talk about this a little more next time, but I have a very close personal experience in the Balkans. My first experience living in Europe was living in Sarajevo for 3 months in Bosnia.
And that's the most interesting people. I'm sorry I had to add, that was when I've been there, it was like 1 year ago. That was the first time in my life and I could touch the history. I don't know why, but I had the feeling, I had this skin.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that. And I was like, wow, so now this is history. I felt more when I was speaking with my grandparents who lived through this 56 revolution. So I was completely out of the world when I was in Sarajevo. I had that thing.
Yeah, Sarajevo is a crazy place. I mean, on my street there was a mosque, an Eastern Orthodox church, a Roman Catholic church, and a synagogue on one street.
And the Jew cemetery.
Yeah,
next to each other.
And they still have this whole, we could go on.
Everyone has a story about the wars. Everyone has a story that, I've been digging the tunnels and, now I'm, a football trainer or whatever. But, I remember when I was digging those tunnels and was saving children.
In a way, the Balkans are a connection to our past because we have a generation, the millennial generation, that has lived through what all generations used to live through before the end of World War II. Every generation, I mean, there were some golden periods in there, like mid-19th century maybe, but regardless, more often than not, a generation was defined by their war experience. Yeah, whereas for us, that's a little bit different, except in the Balkans, in the European context. You look at the whole world, and we're still living in a little utopic, blissful dot that doesn't really have any relation to anywhere else.
Yeah. So we couldn't say anything about the future.
Oh, we've said a lot about the future. We're looking forward to the future release where many of these questions will be answered and many more questions will arise.
Yeah, it's more than directly.
Very sophisticated.
Exactly. Filibuster, if you will. That's basically what that just was.
Well, Teréz and Nauszika and Bob Tamás, köszönöm szépen, köszönjük szépen. And thank you very much to our special guest star, Whiskey Barlang János, who was here more in spirit and spirits than anything else. Köszönjük szépen, and we will see you next week.
Köszönjük.
Much love.